Bruce is on.
Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Bruce Swartz. I'm a ufologist. I have a 14-inch telescope, but this was captured with an infrared camera. So we have a spacecraft to capture, two spacecraft that stopped by over the house, literally stopped by as they hovered over the house, allowing me and a witness of all things to be able to capture them. But this video, you're going to love it. If you're really into finding out the truth about the real UFOs and about seeing raw spacecraft videos, which are obviously top secret and goes against national security threats, right? But I'm an independent researcher. I have no clearances I have to go through. I'm just being blocked. Look at the thrusting on the left as you see the energy or those lights. It's not refraction. It's literally light coming from the craft. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things, talk about dark matter, talk about photonic light, and talk about the shape-shifting shape and form of this object in the center. Here in the picture, we can see on each side, we can see the circle that is circular, but on the left, not a perfect circle. It has four little bends in that circle. When it was leaving on the right, it was perfectly circular and got a lot dimmer. Here you can see the differences. It's the same craft, just different times as it's progressing along the sky. That you can see when it left, it has a big wide circle, which looks like a black hole of literal dark matter. And on the left, you can see the bends and on the edges of that circular craft, which is pretty much like a square craft. So you have a circle, you have a square with triangular shaped fire or thrusters at the end, meaning there are definitely thrusters there. We'll talk a little bit further about what could be propelling it. We're going to look at it differently in a negative image. I'm going to adjust the exposure, zoom in, and analyze each and every characteristic of this spacecraft. There'll be lots more videos, and guess what? Yes, probably a lot more spacecraft, as more and more they could be showing themselves to people more and more here on Earth, whether it be coincidence or not. Going through the colors and simple filtering and using just quite simply the filtering on my infrared camera. Here's the raw footage where you can see again that unique shape in the center changing, but notice that each thruster is different. Look, they go on and off. You see it dimmer. Each thruster is not, they're not all simultaneously thrusting, and it's obviously also controlling the craft as it both hovers and becomes stationary and then takes off and then gets smaller and dimmer. That circle has to do with the spacecraft as we try to analyze it. It fascinates me. They take off, and they don't even need that thrusting light to take off from what it seems. When they take off, they actually disappear. From what I believe is that they're actually showing themselves. A joystick Nintendo manette. You literally see that ball in the center with the square and the four joystick buttons, right? A simple joystick manette. It's the characteristics that we are seeing from this spacecraft. It's absolutely fascinating. We are definitely seeing a magnetic field around this spacecraft. And in the last video, I showed it in a negative image, which you can see the shape in the center, like beyond incredible, where what fascinates me is the thrusters are at the end of an empty void or space or black hole or invisible spaceship. So imagine that the spaceship itself is invisible, but the thrusters on them can be seen, but not the thrusters themselves, is that they are reacting with the atmosphere. It could be actual dark matter that's being produced inside of these craft. Even the flame in the center has a square-ish shape to it that transforms from square to circular as you see it moving along. Aside from that, bright lights, which 4 bright lights, and 4 other dimmer lights, which could be from breathe holes or, heat coming out of there, or it could literally be that there are 4 lights on top, because they don't seem to be as bright as the other ones, but yet again, they do become bright eventually at the same time. So we see 4 independent lights bright, and during the process of it passing over me, the exposure is down here, we can see that all 8 lights become extremely bright. I'll show that also later. Here again, fascinating. a triangular shape on top, and look at the two different circular shapes, which they were always changing. Reminds me of some type of beam coming from somewhere too, right? Like, I'm not ruling out it's not CERN. So you see the circle on the right, and on the left, those little edges where the circle seems to be bent. Yet the fire is brighter on the left when the circles are bent, and when it's circular, the fire is less. When it came down, it was red and amber fusioning, and it was moving around like underwater, just like the first time I had seen it here come down. As you're watching the video, notice that you see a triangular formation, often like a spout forming. I'll get a narrow up right here. We see it all around the four fires or fusion or photonic light. They appear while you're watching the video back up, and you'll see that triangle often appearing. I know it's dangerous talking about the characteristics of this. I know that Jeremy Corbell's image, they're hiding the video. But here's the scary part. Where it's transparent, we can see the stars through it. But there's literally what looks like physical thrusters, at least 4 of them that are there. And there's 4 dimmer lights around it. It could be coming from the top, or it could be breathing holes, to let that heat come out, which, heat. If there is heat, we're trying to understand this. But guys, that see-through part, listen to what I'm saying, that see-through part doesn't have any fire appearing from it. It's just like a black hole. You have a fire in the center, but it's like that black area, that circle, no matter what shape it has, never has a flame appearing across it. It's like it's a void of darkness, just like a, dare I say it, seriously, a black hole. So we're really looking at a magnetic field around this spacecraft. We can see the magnetic field. Bob Lazar, a long tongue. Bob Lazar talked exactly of just that. A magnetic field that was created by the spacecraft itself, by the burning and combining of those different elements. Element 115 goes through a tube, interacts with the atmosphere. We get that photonic light. Bob Lazar talks about these spacecraft, well, his spacecraft, the ones that he was working on or back engineering, that creating this photonic light when it touches the atmosphere, it's creating dark matter, right? So the dark matter clashes with matter, antimatter with matter. And, all these things that we're looking at as we are analyzing it definitely shows a magnetic field around it. The light and everything, independent thrusters that are both intense at times and independent too. You could see them, is it controlling? Obviously it's hovering and everything. Like when it's hovering, you see the shape changing in the center as it hovers. Oh my God, this is pretty incredible. It's top secret for sure. I'm just nimwits that got this. You see the triangles appearing on the top and bottom? Yep, top and bottom, we see the triangle, and on each side, more of a line. These are unique characteristics. See the triangles shape appearing on the top and bottom? Fear not, guys. There won't be many views, but this is reaching the right people. So there it is. As it's leaving, you see the circle gets very wide and perfectly circular. No fire or intensity on the inside as it disappears. Incredible. Paul Sabo, Pat Yassar, Darla Lama, Ruth Kelly, everyone who contributed, gifting out the memberships, and every way you have, Kristen Kruger, Michelle Preston. Thank you so much for the generous contributions, everyone.
Thank you, Eric Dubé. Merci pour tout.
Aliens on the moon. When are they going to tell the world? Come on, Pentagon. Aliens on the moon. Aliens on the moon. And they're mining. And they're mining on the moon. Aliens on the moon.
Thank you very much for the support to this channel. Everyone, thanks for the generous contributions, and thanks for watching the videos.
Aliens up down on the moon. They may be even coming right here soon. Aliens are mining on the moon. Yes, they are up there. Doesn't matter, cause disclosure's coming soon. Disclosure's coming soon.